Hello. I want to tell you a story before I tell you why I'm on here. I remember I was a teenager and I loved going to Cedar Point. When I went on this ride, I was a little bit concerned about. I'm not sure which one it was. I think it was one of the bigger roller coasters. I noticed halfway up the hill that the lap bar that was on my leg was seemingly more loose than I would have cared for it to be. I had a seatbelt on, but the lap bar was the part that I cared most about. And it was my first time riding this ride, and I was extremely concerned about this lap bar not going all the way down on my lap. And the whole time, as I'm climbing up the hill, I'm thinking to myself, am I safe? Am I going to make it through this ride all right or not? And as we went down the hill, I found out very quickly that I just still wasn't unsure. Every time there was a hill, I went up higher than I thought I should be going. I felt like I was slipping out more than I should. I didn't feel comfortable where I was. And because I didn't feel comfortable about the ride, I had no enjoyment whatsoever in the ride that I had just ridden. As I recall that story, I remember I rode that ride again a few years later. This time, the lap bar was secure. The seatbelt was tight, and I absolutely loved the ride. The reason why I'm talking to you today and the reason why I share that story is because we are not at the point where we feel that this would be a safe environment for you to be at. Not yet anyways. We are not going to make a decision based off of this idea that we have the ability to show people we're not afraid. We're not going to reopen or stay closed based off of a political party talking point. We are asking that we would make a wise decision. It's not going to be about what's right or what's wrong, but what's wise. Because I want to tell you what it would be like if you would return this Sunday, the first Sunday of May. Now, I want to say off the bat, we're not sure about the whole month of May yet. But I do know that if we are to return in May, it's going to look a lot different than what you're used to. Here are some things that we already have in place. You're going to have to wear a mask. If you're going to be here on Sunday morning with us in the month of May and maybe possibly into the month of June, you're going to wear a mask. It will be required of you. We're not even sure how many people are allowed to be here. If it's a group of 10, it takes 10 people to run the service. There's 7 to 8 people on the worship team. There's 2 people in the back running the tech. And then there's me. That makes 10. So how many people could be here? None. Say they're going to let us have 50 people in the church. Okay, we have 40 people who are allowed to be in here. So 40 people are allowed to be in here besides the people who are running our ministries. And what we're going to have is make sure you have masks on. We're going to make sure you use hand sanitizer as soon as you come in through the doors. And we're going to have one way to go in the sanctuary and one way to go out. We will make sure that the rows are separated. We're closing off every other row. And we're going to make sure that where you sit, you are 6 feet apart from another family. There will be no greeting time. There will be no passing the plates. There will be no communion. It's going to look different. There will be 6 feet apart of social distancing, and we'll have some volunteers in place to make sure that you are doing what's required of you in order for you to be here, because we want you to be safe. We fight for families. We care about you, and we want you to feel comfortable because we want you to be able to come back and know that this is a safe place for you. And as your pastor, I'm just not sold on if it's safe. Oh, it may be for you and your age, but what about your kids? You see, I don't even feel comfortable about having babies here yet. If babies aren't yet known to be safe during this time, then why would I want them to be here? And if we have service, there would be no kids service. You would have to have the kids in the pews with you. Can you imagine being a teacher and telling kids to separate, not touch each other? Don't go there, don't touch that, don't put that in your mouth. Even after we've sanitized everything, as soon as someone enters the building, it's no longer sanitized. I don't feel comfortable with people wearing gloves everywhere. That's just another way to spread germs. As soon as a doctor enters a room, he puts on new gloves. As soon as he leaves the room, he takes off another pair of gloves. As soon as you touch a hymnal or top of the pew, are you willing to change your gloves or sanitize your hands? Listen, this is not a time to show our faith or prove our faith in God by showing up and shaking hands and kissing babies and hugging on one another, because that wouldn't happen either. Our greeting time would not be the same. There'd be no coffee, no donuts. You'd have to come in, you'd be sitting down, you'd be listening to the worship, you'd be hearing me speak, and then you would leave. We'd ask that all social distancing would happen in the parking lot as well. And if there's any time of discussion or time you want to meet or catch up with people, we'd ask that you do outside of the building. And in fact, I won't even be here until I decide that worship is starting. You won't be able to see me. I'll make sure the social distancing is not available, because I don't know if I would feel comfortable enough saying no to you if you wanted to give me a hug. You better believe I would want to give you a hug. You better believe I want to shake your hand. You better believe I want to embrace you and tell you how much I love you. But in the month of May, I will not make myself available to the church even if we're open. It's going to look weird. It's going to be awkward. It's not going to be home. And you know, we create this space to feel like home. I don't feel comfortable enough. I don't feel like now is the time for us to be back. It's not out of fear. It's out of wisdom. I love the story in Matthew 10 where the disciples are being told to go out and to share the good news and to be with the people in the city. And one thing that Jesus says to them is, I'm sending you like sheep into wolves, and I want you to be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. I want us to be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. I want us to be wise with how we spend our time with people. I want people to feel safe because I need them to hear the message that Jesus Christ has for them to hear. I want the Holy Spirit to be able to speak to their hearts. And I don't see how I could have worship. I don't see how I could hear the good news of Jesus Christ if I'm worrying about the person who sneezed behind me. Or if my kid is safe in the kids' ministry. Or if rules are being enforced. Or I wasn't able to say hi to my best friend that I haven't seen in over a month. It doesn't feel right. When I put my faith in Jesus Christ and I put my faith in God, He's asking me to be wise. And I feel like this is the wise decision to make. So as of right now, we will not be meeting this Sunday. But I tell you what we will be doing. We are investing in the future. And what we're doing by investing in the future is that we are going to up our online presence. We've had an opportunity to write a grant to receive $5,000 to upgrade our online services because it's expensive to do so. If you've been watching us online, it's getting more blurred. My words and my lips don't match up. There's issues going on as we try to better our online services. I don't know about you, but when I want to go and be focused on something that's being spoken to me, I want no distractions because there's enough distractions as it is. And what we want to do is put our best foot forward with our online services. We may not receive that grant, but what I'm asking is that maybe some of you feel led to allow us to have a certain amount of money to up our online presence. We want to put our best foot forward in everything that we do with what's available to us. We're also aware that we're not sure what the future is going to hold. We don't know if the fall is going to look like it does now. We don't know what time we're going to allow to have 100 people, 150 people here at church at once. So we're going to continue to make our online presence as strong as possible, and we would love to have your help with that. Another thing that we could have your help during this time is our home groups. Many of you feel disconnected. We've created home groups specifically for that reason. We're also seeing the church move through our home groups. Please make home groups a priority for those of you who have signed up. This is your time to make sure you are connecting with people that you love and sharing with them how you're doing, because some of us aren't doing so well. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we need each other. This is your opportunity to sign up for a home group, or if you're part of a home group, make it a priority again. We want you to feel that you are connected as best as possible during these hard times. So look for a home group. Connect through a home group. Do ministry, home groups. Find a way to do ministry where you are. This is our time to be the church, even outside of Sunday morning. This is our time to prove to those that we love Jesus Christ by the way we live our lives, and we have set up a position, a place for you to do so through your home groups. Look for it. Make it a priority. If you're feeling lonely or lost during this time, we ask that you join a home group. This is the perfect time to do so. Lastly, we ask that you would help us with supplies when we do get back. We need help with donations for buying masks, or donate your own masks to help us out. Hand sanitizer, anything that you think would be helpful to us to open up safely and responsibly, we would ask that you would help us to do so through your donations. So, would you pray with us of how to handle reopening slowly? And we will open slowly, and it will look different, and it may be awkward. Even if we do decide to open our doors, it will not be the church that you know. And I pray that that would happen sooner than we think. But until then, I want us to enjoy the ride. Enjoy this place. But that's only going to happen when people start to feel safe again. Would you begin to pray with us during this month of May and June of how to open, how to be safe, and how to do church? And it's going to look different. It's going to continue to look different. Because my goal, my objective, is to be the church through our home groups and discipleship groups. Sunday morning is just a celebration, thanking the Lord for the work He's doing. And I want us to gather to do that. But don't believe for a second that church hasn't been happening. It's happening. It's just happening through different forms. It's happening through our online services. It's happening through our home groups and our discipleship groups. We ask that you would participate in those things as much as possible. Join us online. Help us update our camera and our online services. Help us by joining a home group. Help us by praying and connecting to those around you so that the good news of Jesus Christ can be shared. Even during this time of uncertainty, let us move and be the church no matter where we are. I love you. I can't wait to see your faces. Talk to you again soon.